This episode of the Submerged Podcast is brought to you by Monsoon Aquatics.
Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of the Submerged Podcast. I am joined again today by Sam and Sam. How are we, Sams?
We're good.
Yeah, good.
Only one thing better than one Sam is two Sams.
No, I'm good.
That's great. Excellent. Good to hear.
Two Sam
Well, I
P's.
do have to. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Just for
better.
extra value. Yeah. Jared, I would be better though if you went to great effort to get this slogan for the podcast, and you never remember to say it.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Here's your chance. Let us hear it.
Deep dives and Aussie vibes.
Oh, there we
Ooh,
go.
that sounds good.
That's the
I think
catchphrase we want.
I think I just had too long a time off over Christmas, and I'm still getting back into it. You know, like the last episode, like I was listening back on it, I'm just like, I sound pretty fresh in that one. Whereas, like, I think I'm trying to just get back into the rhythm of things. Like I kind of was doing well towards the end of last season. I feel like it's all brand new again this year. So
That's good to have a fresh look at things. But don't forget that slogan. I love it.
Yeah,
When
Well,
you say it, it's
it
iconic.
is. It's damn catchy too.
Yeah.
I'll promise to try and remember a little bit more. But yeah, smack my hand and tell me that I need to be better with it. It's good.
I promise it wasn't meant to be a hand smacking.
Good news today. We've actually got on top of Monsoon sponsoring us for the entire season, we've actually got a sponsor for the episode who's doing a little giveaway for some
Ooh, very
listeners,
nice.
which is excellent. Everyone always loves these, and we love to help give away. Like it's not us giving away; we're just kind of the middleman here, it's good fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what listeners won't have heard was Sam Philp was just asking before we went live on the recording, can he win this prize? That's how good
I
it is.
did not say that.
Oh, now he denies it.
As long as it's soft corals, mate, sign me up.
No, we don't take anything for ourselves unless, like, Chris Talbot was nice enough to throw us a few tubs of food last year, which
He
was
did,
good.
yes.
Good food too.
He more
Very
so
good.
wanted our opinion on it more than anything, just
This
to
is
give us
true.
free stuff. But yeah, we don't take anything for ourselves. We're not asking for anything.
No.
We want the listeners to
That's right. We're here for the
to win
listeners.
these things. Yeah, that's right. We've got Chris Dagger from East Coast Corals contributing, giving us 3 coral supplement packs
Nice,
to give
nice.
away.
Now, this is something
Chris
that I don't need to win because I've already got his products. And
I've
I can
got a
say-
couple of his trace elements too, which
can
is
say
which I
they're
haven't
good
used
stuff.
yet, but I've got a
Oh,
couple.
Yeah.
You have to get onto it. I know you guys
Right.
stock it at Bespoke, but you're going to have to...
I need coral first.
Yeah.
Before I
That's pretty
use
important,
some
isn't
of this.
yes, good point.
I've got some too.
Supplements.
I just haven't touched it yet. I bought it from Bespoke and I haven't touched it. So
Oh, well,
There you go.
You
There you
guys
go.
are both in for a treat.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Very soon as well, we'll have the powders on the shelf. We're just waiting to get some of that stuff online too, so that by the time this airs, it might be being
Look at
sold
that.
already in store. So, which is great.
Right.
But
Nice.
this stuff you don't have to buy, because if you're the winner, you get some of it for free, which is great. So he's got a few
Brilliant.
packs there that he's tailoring a little bit too. Like you can pick and choose a few bits and
Mhm.
pieces. The way that we're going to do it is we want to kind of direct a little bit of traffic to our socials and his socials as well. So
Yes.
to win this, if you're hearing this, get on our socials and follow the terms and conditions on there. And we won't say too much
Ooh.
more about it. So yeah,
Look at you, Mysterio with the hook.
what could it be?
yeah. But we're going to talk a little bit about Chris and his setup there, because Sam, not so long ago, we just come from his little Phragmus,
Phragmus, yes.
which was a fun little little gathering, and
Sure was.
what they do, they had a little bit of a bring a frag, take a frag style swap thing going on
Yeah.
as well, which was fun.
Yeah, a little bit of a what do you call those things with you bring a present in? Kris Kringle. It was a little bit like that, but Coral Kringle.
Oh, that's a nice
I
name.
like it. Coral Kringle. Yeah.
That's great.
It was a fun little day. A couple of beers, some sausage sandwiches, and you managed to do a little video on his tank and
I
talk
did.
about some of his supplements. And
Yeah.
but yeah, he's doing some great things. Not only so the backstory with him is he's just started cutting frags off his tank, and it became a bit of a working tank, and he sold frags to everyone in Sydney at one point, and then he's now kind of dived in, doing all the supplements and everything, and he's doing a really good job of it. Like, it's a really good price point, nice potency on some of the stuff, and
Yeah.
I wish I could say that it works really well. I'm sure you guys can.
I can
at
say
least,
it works well. Yeah. I've been using
we've
the
had
supplements
some
for a while.
some happy customers at Bespoke with it, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think this will help kind of build his name a little bit, and have people purchasing it a little bit more, which is good for him. So,
Well, there's a few things I like about his range. Firstly, it's made by a reefer. As you touched on, he started making these products because he was making them for himself on his tanks and for his frag tanks. And then some of his friends were like, hey, what are you using? Can I get some of that too? So then he started making the supplements for himself and he's in a circle of friends. And then he was like, it kind of makes more economical sense to make this on a slightly bigger scale and sell it. And then, maybe even turn a profit one day from it. And as a result, he's got a really high quality product. He has a very intimate understanding of each of these elements, when to use them, how to use them, which ones to mix, not mix, which ones will push certain colors or do whatever you're sort of
and
chasing.
the background behind all of it too.
The background, he's not just a cowboy. He's educated in the space and knows what he's talking about. But the single best thing I find about them is his price point. He is the cheapest supplement range out there that I've come across, particularly when you compare potency per dollar. It's very, very good products.
$30, 100 mils, something like that, I think.
Yeah, cheap.
From memory.
Yeah.
Which is cheap. And it's quality stuff. He's put the time and effort into them. The labels look nice. They're, it's all good stuff. So, hopefully it can really start to kick off for him, and, more shops take it on. There's a couple of shops at the moment that have it in store, but I'm sure the more popular it becomes, more shops will take it on as well, which is only good things for the hobby and for him as well. So
True that.
Today's episode 21, we're talking about aquascaping today, which is some people think it's all a little bit too hard. They might outsource it to a shop or a friend or something like that, or attempt it and end up throwing it in the bin because they weren't happy with the final, the bigger picture of it. But we'll go over it today on where aquascaping started and where we're at today and all the different kinds of aquascaping, and even give some tips on products to use and steps and stuff like that. So, but first I've got to ask, how much aquascaping have you boys done in the past?
Ooh. I'll let you go, Sam Parker.
I was gonna have a quick count. So I had my original softy tank, then I had my 6 foot. I did do the scaping that. I did get a little bit of help with it, but I did do most of it. Then the frag tank doesn't count because that didn't have a scape; it just had racks. I did have
acrylic scape.
acrylic scape, and I did outsource that because I sent it to someone with the CNC to make the scape. I did have a NEM tank for a while that had a scape I built. And then, to be fair, I didn't do much of my current scape. I gave the artistic vision and I enlisted my good friend Dave at Deer Park Aquarium and said, you make the best scapes I've seen, go for gold. And he delivered. So I'm a little bit of a scape newbie.
Yeah, I'd say I'm.
Although I didn't mean to cut you off there,
No,
Sam, but I will say I have actually made scapes for other people. I've made more scapes for other people than I've made for myself, which
Yeah, good.
it's a little bit of a trend I find I don't know what you guys are like, but the skates I make, I don't like. But other people are
Yeah.
like, oh, that's awesome. And then same thing happens with Dave. Every scape he makes, he's like, I don't like this. I'm going to start again. And I'm like, this is incredible. I think you just see things differently when you've built it. You know what's not sitting exactly the way you want it or whatnot. So I don't know. That's my oddity, or one of them anyway.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience.
Oh, look,
Sam?
like 4 or 5 tanks, I think I've aquascaped myself, but I don't confess to be an expert because the majority of them have been artificial rock and getting all of the, Carib Sea arches and all of the,
That's all
pre-shaped
right.
rocks.
That's modern reefing,
Yeah,
mate.
so that's kind of what I've used and what I've dabbled in. I did try a little bit of bonsai idea with a bit of that liquid glue, the cyanoacrylate glue that sets quickly, and throw the dust and sand. So I played a bit around with that, so I can talk to that a bit. But that's probably all me. But I feel like Jared's going to be by far the most experienced here.
This is his forte. Tell us, Jared. Put us out of our misery.
I do it actually for like a little bit of a side hobby. Like I've got old rock and stuff lying around, and like I've had friends go, oh, I'm thinking about putting a little 2-foot cube together. I'm like, sweet, I've got some rock, I'll build you something, like,
good.
so I just, I do it for a bit of fun. But like ever since being at Bespoke, myself and Alex there, we're kind of the two aquascaping guys, and probably both have like different kind of styles, I guess, in a way.
That's good to have.
Which is great.
Bounce off.
It's excellent to have. Yeah, because like I kind of go to him and say, what do you reckon of this? And he goes, oh, I wouldn't do that. And maybe this, and it's probably not something that I would have thought of, which is good. And we bounce ideas off each other and stuff. And some people like his style or prefer his style. Some people like mine. And we built a fair few scapes for some people. So I guess it's probably part of my job now a little bit as well, that people come to us for these things. And the reason why this episode has come about is because I've online and in store, I've gotten a lot of questions about a scape that I just recently did. And I thought, what better way to kind of educate and help people and probably get people out of the idea that they can't do something like that, like it's too hard, so maybe this might help you if you're thinking about dipping your toe in the water and aquascaping, that maybe this might push you over the edge and give it a go. So it's not as hard as what you think. Yes, it's big, heavy rock and all, and it takes time, but really there's some fundamentals there, and it's not as hard as what you think sometimes. So yeah.
All right. And before we move on, Jared, I totally forgot here. I was supposed to jump in and do some trivia for you two.
Hey,
yeah, so I thought before we dive right into the aquascaping and we run away on a tangent, that I'd give it to you two, because I'll sit out on this one and I'll let you two go.
This gives me a chance to get 2 points. I like it.
Yeah,
this is very different. I don't know if I like this. I've been on the other end of this trivia.
I love this. All right, every week it's me now. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so I have some questions that I've got from Monsoon about different things they're doing at Monsoon Aquatics in regards to the aquaculture and all those type of things. So one of the questions that I was going to provide on the bus trivia and that I'm going to give to you, but this is the question that I have for both of you. How many days does it take for a peppermint shrimp to settle after spawning?
Ooh.
So while you think, before you jump in, I'm going to give you some bit of background. Hopefully it'll help.
Okay.
So obviously the peppermint shrimp are holding the eggs and they release them into the water column, pelagic spawners they call them. And then they float around for a certain number of days, and then they resettle back onto hardscape or onto the ground, demersal.
Okay.
So how long from the point where they release to the point that they resettle as adults on a reef or on a aquarium?
So they only resettle as adults?
Yes.
So they will continue to be free-floating their whole childhood, essentially?
Yeah.
Well,
that's my understanding.
All right. Yeah, no, that's fair. You could tell me anything at this point, mate. I've got a sneaky feeling I've heard this before. That does not mean for a second that I'm going to get it right, but I'm going to have a guess at 90 days.
Okay. I won't tell you because I want to hear Jared.
No. Wait for Jared. Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Don't let him off easily.
I wasn't thinking that much because I don't know. I thought this is going to be something that would make you kind of go, wow, really? Like I'm thinking like maybe like 30 days. Like a month.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to give the point to Jared here. You are closer.
Oh,
now, it is between 30 and 40 days to settle.
Oh, nicely done.
Yeah. So there's some that are longer, I think, and shorter in some cases, but that's the day number they gave me, 30 to 40 days. So
very nice.
Top notch.
I don't know what you're talking about. This trivia stuff's easy.
So what's the tally? Is that like one each now or something like this?
Yes, yeah.
I win the season.
One from one.
One from
That's
one.
Good odds.
Very
Not
nice.
bad odds. Yeah, good odds.
Just coming back to those shrimp though, well, even though it was about a third as long as I suggested, it's still a long time to just be like free falling.
Yeah.
just going with the current.
Yeah, that's exactly
hanging
right.
about.
But some shrimp are longer. From my understanding, like red line cleaner shrimp and that are probably closer to that 90 days or more.
Maybe that's where I've heard the 90. I reckon I'd heard 90 days somewhere before. Maybe that's what makes red line so difficult to captive breed is you've got to keep them in suspension, I guess, for that time frame. Yeah.
And not predated.
So does that also mean that like where they were kind of released, they could actually touch reef again kilometers and kilometers away, not necessarily the same reef where they were released.
To tell you the truth, if it's anything like larval fish, which I've worked on previously, some larval fish can travel hundreds, if not thousands of kilometers on currents in their larval stage.
Wow.
So,
I mean, that's kind of the idea of them being in that free floating stage is that they do get out of there.
They spread. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Anyway, back to the aquascaping.
No, that was great. I mean, I got it wrong, but I still enjoyed it. Yeah, good trivia. I like it.
You can do it every week.
Thanks, Monsoon.
I've been struggling. So aquascaping. I guess probably the first thing that we need to talk about is the evolution of aquascaping, because if you've been in the game for a while, you probably know that there wasn't a lot of aquascaping happening back in the days. It was more of a boulder wall looking type thing, right?
Well, it was a different purpose because back then the idea was that your live rock, because there was no such thing as artificial or it was incredibly rare, but live rock was your filtration. So your scape, that I'll put in inverted commas for those listening, wasn't really anything to do with aesthetics at all, really. It was about putting as much rock in the tank as you could.
Big mountain.
Would be the idea of getting as much filtration in your tank as possible. And if you had it look half decent and there was some spots to put some corals, happy days. But there were these dirty, big, ugly rock piles that all leaned up against the back wall. And you still see a few tanks about with them that somehow they still work. But man, it's amazing how much things have changed in the last few years, hey?
But even with that rock wall, so over the time, I think our access to certain types of live rock changed as well. So
spot on.
For a little while, it was very much that kind of boulder-looking wall, a big mountain of rock, and then that whalebone stuff started to come about, and different types of live rock started to become a thing, and which then kind of, I think, was the start of aquascaping in a reef tank, where you could kind of make the rock work start to look like something.
Well, I'd be super curious to know, is a little bit of a chicken or an egg situation. Did the collectors start, or was it just by chance, they collect random rocks and then some particular enthusiasts out there were like, oh, I like the shape of this one and I can use this and use that. And then because those rocks were popular, the collectors then sourced those rocks? Or did the collectors influence the way that we that we put together tanks and aquascapes, it's something, I mean, we'll probably never know because there's, many different collectors, many different enthusiasts all dynamically doing these things at the same time. But it is curious, as you say, we went from pretty much boulders in a ugly stack to starting to actually care about the shape a little bit of the rocks.
Well, the funny thing as well is the initial, like that boulder wall that we talk about is probably the more accurate to a living reef than what you see in today's tanks.
Sure.
So
ironically,
the reason why we aquascape now is probably to be a little bit more, probably give our coral a little bit better environment, because if anyone has had one of those boulder walls, you're limited to what you can do with it.
That's exactly right.
You'll get some coral in there, and there'll be warfare pretty quickly and stuff. You were always dealing with one pest after another that came in with a lot of live rock.
Detritus traps, unstable rocks falling down. Yep. Swim throughs for fish, flow through for coral. It posed a lot of issues.
Yeah, and then I think people started to go, well, if I somehow can stick this rock to this rock, then maybe I can have this coral grow that way, or I can maybe get more flow if there was an overhang or things like that. And people actually started to think about it. But I do think that this was all kind of, it's hard to say, but it was brought on by freshwater.
100% is.
Those bonsai freshwater stuff.
There's some of the freshwater stuff that they do. And I guess it's reverse, right? Because the aquascaping that they do is purely to mimic what you would see, in an Amazon forest or something like that. They're building biotopes. Well, not always, but
I've seen upside down waterfalls with avatar themes and stuff. Let's not give them too many roses, all right?
But the guys who do it good and who have made a name for their like at the Underwater Pet Expo, you guys had an aquascaping tournament there.
Yeah, we had the nation's
which was
best
excellent.
there. Yeah.
And that kind of shows you that they're trying to take a certain section of a river or something and put it in a couple of glass walls. And whereas I think the reefing side, we're going a little bit different. We're focused on promoting the coral that we have in our tank to the best of the ability. Whereas they're just kind of trying to make a biotope, really.
It is funny. There's many aspects in this hobby where I think we go polar opposite directions. Sometimes we're trying to emulate or mimic what's in the wild and what's natural to a T. And then other times I feel like we completely turn our eyes away from that and go something so artificial or so different for good reason. I'm not saying it's necessarily tacky or something. I just say the reefs in the wild are maybe a little bit more rock boulders and towers like that. You're not going to see these, well, not as commonly, these wild branches
or these
and
large overhangs that stick. They're cool, but how often do you see them?
Definitely, for sure. But there is at least the reason to it is to try and give the coral health as well as fish and things. So it's almost trying to mitigate some of the shortcomings we have of trying to replicate an ocean in a box. Which is, some things we can't copy nature yet.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I always think of the aquascape as like the blueprint of your tank. You've got to put it in first. And obviously, I feel like nowadays you've got this kind of long-term vision now for tanks that are being set up in aquascape. So you have to aquascape accordingly. Like, how will the coral grow? Which direction is it going to go? And these big, obviously bold ideas that we used to have kind of gone out the window because now we're aquascaping in a way that allows for best coral health, best fish health, less detritus traps, more flow, So I feel like it's a good change, but you're exactly right. It's not maybe totally getting a capsule of what it looks like in the ocean, but it's as best as we can do.
For sure.
But I think also, as much as we all love our tanks as hobbyists, we are creating like an art form in some way. And to some extent, like we want to show off certain things, you know, like we might build a certain scape for swim room for fish, like not even for coral, you know, because the boulder wall wasn't great because fish would get behind it and you never see them again. And sometimes it's
a
for
real bummer of a tank, eh?
Is there any fish in there? Oh, it's just rock.
Yeah, mate, I got the best fish you've ever seen behind those rocks. I promise.
And sometimes people spend, you know, months and months salary on a certain coral and they want it front and center and they don't want, you know, it needs all the flow and it needs all the light and it gets a, you know, pedestal almost. And so the scape is kind of centered around showing off coral and things like that as well. And you have other ones that, you know, are great for flow and keeping detritus off rock and stuff. And, you know, so there's many different reasons why we aquascape now. And I think we've definitely gone past the trying to replicate what we see out in the ocean. But the best thing about coral is no matter what scape you do, eventually, once it's grown out, it's going to replicate something in some way, right? It might look a little bit unnatural, like you see a lot of those candy shops and things like that, those tanks that you wouldn't see that out in the wild. But like that guy's showing off his collection, you know, it's just like Matchbox cars, you know.
And at a point, you don't see the rock anyway, so then it looks more natural because it's got growth, it's got, you know, coral builders on it.
For sure.
That's the idea. Yeah. That's probably the best foresight you can have when scaping is trying to envision. It's pretty hard, but try to envision what it looks like with coral on it, which I think a lot of people forget as well. That you know, that stag might get 2 feet tall. Like, don't put it an inch from the top of the water.
Made that mistake before.
Yeah, everyone has, and that's where like you get better and better with your scaping as well. So yeah, but so I guess the next evolution of aquascaping after your boulder walls and things like that is when people started to kind of glue things together and fix things together, which may have still been kind of you know, live rock with some putty and things like that, but they could get some caves and stuff. They could get some caves and stuff happening and not have it sit against that back glass. And, you know, then the can was open right after that. They could start to create some shapes and things like that and start to take some rock out, I guess, out of the tank, you know, because sometimes you see those tanks, you're like, that's too much rock, man. Like the water to rock ratio is like out of whack here.
And that's where that tipping point from the days of old came about, where the rock was our filtration, and now that's not the case. We've got ceramic medias for surface area bacterias. We've got good protein skimmers. We've got good mechanical filtrations, good other filtrations, all there. So the rock really just now is an aesthetic place to mount coral. It's not really part of the filtration.
And allowing the tank to have that whole like negative space, you know, like take out some of the rock and allow that negative space and, you know, fish to swim in, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah. As your standpoint.
I remember back to my first reef tank, and if I had it today, people would burn me at the stake because it had the boulder wall. But there was no mechanical filtration. Right. So there was sand, there was rock. It flowed through down into the sump. And it was like there was more rock in the sump and sand and a skimmer. That was it. And it was pumped back into the tank.
Well, that's because back then, like you would say, the volume of your tank, and your local fish shop would say, well, you're going to need about 60 kilos of rock for that size of tank. So get as much of it as you can in the display, and then any that you can't get in there, shove it in the sump.
Or make the mistake like I did with a canister filter at this first tank. Load that up with some rock and ceramic media.
Ooh, that would have smelled good after a while.
Oh, yeah. And then I guess probably the final evolution is probably what you see today, like some, I guess, works of art. There's plenty of people getting around now. Jag is one that comes to mind that he's made a career of it, building scapes and all kinds of things. And the sky's the limit almost now, because the artificial rock that we're finding, that we're getting in, is getting better and better and lighter and lighter. And they're doing a lot of research with it. It's now fairly porous, whereas before it was a brick almost, painted purple. And so you could potentially make whatever you want, realistically, if you have the time, the patience, and the vision for it.
Sky's the limit now, isn't it, really?
It really is, yeah. Which
that
is kind of
lightweight
exciting.
Is a pretty important part, I think, too. Like we talk about some of these wild overhangs and these real branchy shapes and stuff like that. If you tried to do that with some of either the early days artificial rock or some of the early days live rock, it was not something you could really break up and shape. You had to work with the shapes you had, but it was also that heavy that if you tried to glue pieces together in the shapes that people are going for now, it just it's
impossible.
It's just you're really setting yourself up to fail. That glue's going to fail and that rock's going to drop. Now the rock is so porous and has connection points that you can really get some putty or some glue in there, even rods in some cases. You can do things that are so beyond what was feasible just a few years ago.
You think about like live rock, so that's pretty much all we had back in the day. And have a think about how long that rock has actually been on a reef for, like thousands of years kind of thing. And so it is jam-packed with everything, and it's very, very dense. And it's waterlogged, and it's all kinds of this other stuff. It's the man-made stuff is pretty much form-casted concrete, or cement, I should say, painted purple. But they're getting really good at it, where they can make it lighter, and they can make it a little bit more porous. And yes, it probably does get a little bit heavier the longer it's in your tank, but hasn't been soaking in thousands of years worth of crap in the ocean and all that stuff, which is, it has its good and its bad sides. Like, man, if I could find nice looking, lightweight live rock that was easy to kind of glue together, I'd be doing it every day, because there's benefits from live rock. But like when you order live rock, you get what you give it.
Get what you get. Yeah. That's the hard part.
The thing is, there are people out there that have the ability to get good live rock and still make amazing aquascapes out of it. And obviously the one that jumps to mind is Quinton's, right? He's like 8 foot.
Yeah.
That was aquascaped entirely with live rock.
I couldn't believe it.
It's insane.
Brett from Eastwood did that.
Oh, is that who it was?
Yeah.
Unreal. Like, and obviously the quality of the live rock that's coming in is so much better, and obviously more like this branching type, but it's still got to weigh so much and hold, so much more.
The gluing techniques, the vision, and the ability to work with, as you say, the natural shapes that come in and produce a scape like that I would have bet my left leg on was built with artificial rock.
And an 8 foot tank too. Don't forget that. Like, it's
small.
not you could buy a box of live rock, right, and find enough in there to scape a 2 foot tank and be happy with the scape. But an 8 foot tank is.
And then, you got logistical challenges too, with an 8 foot tank of the weight of it, but also trying to keep bits wet and live. On a 2 foot cube, you can sort of, have some wet newspaper over it and do this and that and sort of sit it back in a sump or in a tub of water for a while while you have lunch and then work on the next bit. On an 8 by 2.5 foot tank, that's a lot of live rock.
Yeah, a lot. And to be moving rocks that are weighing a huge amount, either in the water or wet, and trying to glue and piece together.
Massive
blows
effort.
my mind.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that, like, people aren't limited either, right? Like, Quinton obviously wanted live rock in his tank, and he wasn't going to kind of substitute his vision.
No.
So he found someone who could kind of do it for him, and it was done, and it was done really well. But a lot of people be like, that's the only reason why I don't use live rock, is because I just cannot build a scape that I would be happy with.
Yep.
Well,
yeah.
I'm 100% in that category. I'm not fussed about the price of it. I'm not fussed about the so-called pests you might get with it. I think that's massively overstated. And if I want to start a conspiracy, I'll say it was created by the artificial rock companies to push their own product.
It's funny because, Sam, I'm like the opposite. I've always used like artificial rock, and I've always stayed clear of live rock because of those pests and nuisance algae and, that kind of, I know the benefit of it. I totally get it, but I just always have just stuck with that.
It gives you something to do for those first couple of months while it's cycling, is to have a look and go, is that a friend or a foe? And do I need to get a skewer out, try and get him out? Nah, he's all right. Let him go. It pays dividends, not just the bacteria, but just from the mind while you can't do anything else with the tank.
Yeah.
But the thought of, particularly on bigger tanks, trying to work with live rock, that to me, that sounds like a nightmare. I'm down for, I'll take the pests that come with it. I love the natural variants of the shape. I love the natural color. I love the stink of it. I love all of it. But trying to work with that much live rock and trying to keep some of the benefits. I mean, ultimately, even if you dried out live rock, okay, you're going to lose some of the bacterial benefits, but you're going to still have the other benefits of its shape and things.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's still so much harder to work with than artificial rock.
That's probably why I stay clear of it. I'm not very creative as is, and if you'd like give me all this live rock that's not all that, branchy and that kind of stuff, then I wouldn't know what to do with it. But
it is so much harder.
I feel like I'm at the point now. After this episode, I'm going to go away and do a full live rock.
He's motivated.
So.
Yeah, you got 30 or so tags at school that you could
I can
try it in.
Pick one of them. Easy.
Term 1 assignment. Escape it with live rock.
Mate, you should be a teacher. That's phenomenal.
The biggest thing that a lot of people overlook with live rock is they go, the critters, and I can't escape it the way I want it. But man, you can cycle a tank in no time at all with live rock, right? Like Quinton's tank is a perfect example. I'm pretty sure I saw a post of his where he may have had fish and coral within a week or two on that tank.
Doesn't surprise
Not saying that everyone should go and try this. Like he knew what he was doing, but
he had the time, money, and experience to make that work. But it's possible where it's probably not possible with artificial.
Yeah, there is that.
Whereas
that hybrid
a lot
approach,
of asterisks anyway,
right? You could that whole thing where you've got the artificial rock in the tank, but you've got the sump loaded with live rock, and that kind of mitigates that whole cycle and gets that biological established quick. But you've still got that amazing, aquascape.
It's not so much the cycle. It's more so getting good bio in the tank. Because what I found with my tank was like 6 months before it was ready to accept coral. Like I tried and it just would not take anything. Nothing was happy, but I didn't have life in that tank. No matter what I tried, right? I just could not get life in that tank. And like stuff like dinos and stuff would pop up and cyano. So it kind of went through a baptism of fire where everything would just happen. Whereas I think if you've just got that life seeded in your rock from day one, you add water, it's like Insta-tank, really. It's there's not a lot to it. You can kind of add coral and fish a lot quicker than what you can with. My biggest problem was dry scape, no sand, brand new media. So
sterile
it's a very, very sterile environment. And to get things, I know that artificial rock is porous, but to get things to kind of bed into that rock it takes months. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It's not like cycle complete tanks full of life. That's not how it works.
No. It doesn't matter how many supplements you can put in either with artificial rock. It just has to run its course.
Well, it's not the same, is it? Like you said before, Jared, about that rock's been in the ocean for thousands of years. Now that in that top, that's a heck of a cycle, thousands of years. And it's had the chance to see dinos and cyano and algae and things that come across. The biome on that rock has seen those come and gone and is stabilized and balanced, is diverse, is all of these things. So when you put it in your tank, you get that diversity. Some of it might die off in the transition, of course, but when you go with an artificial process, even if you're adding 3 or 4 different brands of bacteria in a bottle. I just think it's probably a touch naive of us to think that that's going to remotely replicate the diversity and complexity of that thousands of years of cycling in the ocean. It's to go down the road of a pun, it is a drop in the ocean compared to that. It's nothing. Sure, we can build it up, but yeah, it's incomparable.
Yeah. But yeah, they both have their pros and cons, and
absolutely.
For me, my biggest pro for the dry rock is I enjoy that aspect of it. I enjoy seeing a picture and going, that's what I see, that's what I want to build, and then it's built and it goes into the tank. Like, I get a satisfaction from that.
It's important because we have to remember this is a hobby.
That's right.
Yep. If you're not having fun doing it, there's no point doing it. So if you enjoy building escapes, then it'd be silly not to.
Go for
Why
it.
would you pay someone else to do it if you like doing it? If you want to make escape a particular shape, do it that way. Like, go for
it. Because the funny thing about this hobby is, yes, we all love fish, and yes, we all love coral, but there's so many other little intricate bits of the hobby where we all love just as much. Like, you see some people are like, I absolutely love the plumbing side of it. I want every color sinking plumbing and all the cool bends, and I want it to make it look like a nuclear power plant in my sump. And then others are like, I'm all about gadgets. There's many gadgets and screens and buttons and stuff that.
Look at all these widgets. They're all on the homepage of my iPad. Like, sick, bro.
Yeah. And some people just like the DIY aspect of it. Like, I want to build a light frame that's above my tank. I don't like the sagging Ecotech 6-foot rail and all that kind of stuff. So
shade thrown at Ecotech.
Episode 2. They got to fix that long rail. I tell you.
They do have to fix it. I'm right there with you.
But so yes, it is about coral and fish, but it's also about everything else too. So and whatever makes you happy.
Just exactly like I was just saying before, it is a hobby. Do more of the things you enjoy in it and less of the things you don't enjoy in it. That's how you ultimately have fun with it. So,
and I think in a whole, it makes the whole hobby better when everyone has their own little, idiosyncrasies and stuff, and they've got their own specialty that they can share, and then we can all learn different things and take on different standpoints. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Spot on.
I think I've said a few times now that my actual dream reef tank, there's more thought gone into a sump ring that's behind a tank than what there is actually in the actual tank itself.
Just set it all up and have an empty tank.
That says a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
Look at how boring.
If I put livestock in this tank,
look at the room behind it.
It would run so smoothly.
Yeah. I guess now we talk about the modern rock, the modern scapes that we can do. So we've spoken about the old Boulder Mountain and stuff like that. But so we've gotten to a point now where aquascaping, there is different styles. It's not just glue this rock to that rock and, you've got to scape. There's different types. And I think the first one we'll talk to, and it's because it's the reason for this episode, is the branching scape, which is probably a little bit more of a newer style of scaping.
Definitely.
Because all the other ones have probably been around a lot longer, and this style of rock has probably not been as available in the past as what it is now. And probably it looks a little bit more daunting to make than what some of the other scapes do as well. So branching is one. It's probably, I guess I would say it's my forte. I enjoy that because I've built a few of them now, and I've had a few people come to me and go, I like what you've done there. I want you to build that for me. So
I think it also depends on the type of tank you've got as well. Like if you've got a peninsula tank, your scape is going to look very different to a 3-sided.
Solid point.
Yeah. So I guess you've got that whole, like, if you are looking at a peninsula tank, you've got that, like, I guess it's a spine or something through the center of the tank that might kind of support all the branches that then branch out around the tank. Or I think more
because with a normal tank, you only kind of, you only think about what you're going to see from the front. But then with a peninsula, like I've got to see this from 3 angles.
Exactly
like,
right. Well,
it's got to look
4.
good from every side. You can't hide anything.
Exactly right. And if you want it, like you want it to look different as well. You don't want it to look the same. You kind of want that different aspect, looking at all the angles.
Yeah.
And then further to your point as well, like you have to consider the tank that you've got, but you also have to consider the coral that you've got.
Definitely.
Some scape does better with some coral. Like, so you would build sometime I like, if someone comes to me at the shop and says, I'm building a softy tank, I would steer them away from a branching scape. I would probably go, let's do something shelving maybe, or, let's do something different. Right. So yeah, you can kind of tailor a scape for a coral, for fish, for anything. So that's something to think about as well. And so I just mentioned branching before, but shelving is probably the one that's been around maybe the longest, possibly.
Yeah, I would say so, because it probably stems from some of the live rock days where
Yeah.
you would get some live rock shelves and then people would try to do stuff with that. And the artificial rock obviously then emulated that. And you do see some pretty cool shelf stuff out there. I mean, it's probably dated a little bit, but like we're touching on before, Escape, it looks very different a couple of years down the journey once coral's on it to when it starts. And I think it's possibly a trap a lot of reefers fall into. You touched on it a little bit, Jared, about hyper focusing on what the scape looks like empty. And I get it, because it's when you're first setting your tank up and it's, you're putting so much energy and effort into it. You want to make everything perfect. The reality is, a couple of years of coral cover and
you don't see it.
No one sets up a tank to look at the rock. Even if you're not having coral, you're setting up a tank for fish.
Jared might. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, actually,
he does love that scape.
So to talk a little bit about the branching scape, right, is so like we learn something with every tank, right? Every tank that we do, we kind of go, that was a problem. So the next tank I build, I'm going to fix that problem. And I had a cade. We've spoken about it a few times. It was a full SPS cade with shelving, with like a shelving scape. And what I found is a lot of my coral would want to encrust more than it wanted to grow, like towards light. And the problem with encrusting acro and Monty and stuff is as soon as it grows into each other, something's got to give, right? They grow into each other and one kills the other, one overtakes the other, some shade, some. And I just found that I was losing coral because of my scape, right? And then, like, I'm not going to say that the branching is something that I've come up with. It's definitely not. I've taken inspiration from other tanks. But as soon as I saw it, I went, well, that kind of alleviates a little bit of SPS kind of growing into each other, because if that SPS has its own branch, there is no chance for it to kind of grow or encrust into another rock, another coral, until it grows all the way down that branch.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless it's not like a long-term thing where it's gone down the entire branch. But yeah, you're exactly right. Having your own branch for your own coral colonies is going to alleviate any warfare straight up.
So like I'll have a problem when they start growing into each other, but not when they encrust into each other. And I can bonsai that if I really, really want to, or I can just let them do their thing. But I felt like I was losing coral before they kind of got a chance to really spread their wings and do their thing in their tank, because they were just starting to touch each other as they kind of encrusted. And yeah, that's the reason why. And that's why I think that the branching style is best suited to an SPS tank, and why it's probably a waste for something like an LPS tank or a softy tank, because those things are all skeleton based, not encrusting. So they're going to grow and send out sweepers no matter what and touch each other. So like you definitely, I'm not saying you can't use it for that, but
no, of course.
Like, I think it's definitely designed for SPS.
Yeah, and I guess the branching rock allows for that flow. You can crank the flow as well. So that's 100%. One thing. You're not going to crank the flow on an LPS, are you? So,
do you think that sort of mindset though of building escape to suit the sort of corals you have. Do you think that adds a hurdle for new people into the hobby though, where they don't know what corals they have a love affair with yet? They're just starting off and they're faced with these questions already. Do you need to go branching? Do you need to go, probably not rock wall boulder, but what sort of scape do you need? What sort of fish coral do you want? They don't know. It might add a level of complexity out there, and I don't know how we advise around that.
Yeah, I guess it's good and it's bad because yes, it does add in a complexity where they're not easy to make. They take some time. There's definitely some money involved in a big scape like that. That branching rock's more expensive than other rock. But it's like that thing that we've spoken about a few times now, where we're learning new things about this hobby. And 5-10 years ago, I would have never even thought about building a scape specifically for a coral to showcase that coral and to stop it from doing a certain thing. Like the old saying with coral is it's always going to do what it wants to do. You can't stop it. But I did stop it from encrusting into each other. So I kind of
I am God.
I kind of did. Well, I'm not saying but we, as a hobbyist, collectively, all of us with this type of scape, we have
definitely
alleviated an issue that was, with a certain coral, right? So yes, it may add some complexities for some people in one way, but they also might be able to go, well, if I never knew about that scape, I probably would have lost a lot more coral building the wrong scape and have it all kind of bleach and die because it all just grew into each other or it just shade. Like, I don't know how many times I've had SPS hanging off a ledge. I'm like, that looks so good. And then it just shaded everything beneath it. Right. So it's like, I learned from that and evolved that and have gotten to a point now where I'm like, I think I've kind of figured that part out for myself. So
I feel like for new reefers, like obviously, like you said, if you're adapting your scape to the coral that they want to go with, but they don't know what coral they want to go with, I guess the best point of call there is going to be go to your local fish shop and see some scapes in action, look at the corals that you're interested in, and then work with them to help design something or build it if you're not confident. I guess that would be my recommendation for that.
Every single person who's asked me to build a scape, I said, find what you want. Find what you want online. Find me a video. Find me a picture of what you want your tank to look like, and I can build it off that. A few have just gone, I don't care. You have free reign. Do what you want, which is great, yes. But I kind of want them to go. This is really what I'm after, and it might not be anything like I was thinking of doing. So.
That's just because you're a master aquascaper that wants strict challenge set.
Well, you got to love your own tank as well, though, right?
True,
like you look at it every day. Once it leaves the shop, I may never look at it again. But you've got to live with it every day. So it's got to be, to your taste in a way. But I think the best advice I can give a new hobbyist, a new aquascaper, is have an end goal, right? Have an end goal for what you want in that tank, because I don't know how many new hobbyists I talk to in the shop, outside of the shop and stuff, and they go, well, I'm going to start with softies now because they're fairly easy. After that, I might jump in and I might get some LPS, and then probably some SPS and stuff on top. Like, I think that's great that you're giving all of it a bit of a go, but where's the end goal? Is the end goal all SPS? Is the end goal a full mixed reef? Like, kind of plan that out first, what you think you might, what really appeals to you in the hobby, and build a scape around that at the end of the day. If you know that I'm definitely going to end up with SPS, build the scape for that. If you know that softies are where it's going to start, where it's going to finish, build a scape for that.
Who would do that?
Probably less work with a softy scape because they're so big and they take up so much room, and they come so far off the scape that it does not really matter sometimes on what you might put all that effort into an awesome looking scape and be lost all that time and effort for not much. So
that's true. My last scape, I actually totally forgot about it, but is actually a bespoke build. I got secondhand the whole tank that came with the scape, and it was designed primarily for LPS, so it had lots of shelves on it, kind of that, like, I guess, midpoint between becoming modern. But it does suit the softies for sure. It's like got large areas that can, they can at least like spread, and then they can grow out off the scape, but there's not much coral warfare issue, so it doesn't need the branching. So it's worked out all right.
Yeah.
In that aspect. But that was also a bespoke build. I don't know who built that one specifically, but
yeah. So two more styles of scaping, and Sam, I think that this is yours, the arching scape. Yours is a little bit arching, isn't it?
Definitely a bit arching. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. Works well.
The good thing about arching now is Carib Sea actually make arches, so you can almost build a scape with very minimal rock now. Like you order in these arches, you place 2 feet on it, and you've got like a harbour bridge style arch done, finished.
Yeah, they do that.
Easy.
What do they call it? The epic arch or mega arch? Is it? Or
that's like
they do one that's 3 foot long. Yeah.
If you just want, if you just want to put that in the tank, you're done. But I know the scape in my tank. Whilst I did sort of outsource the construction of it, I was pretty clear with the vision and thoughts towards it. And I know Dave did use, it's like 99% Carib Sea arches. Yeah. It's just the arch pieces.
Yeah,
just stick multiple arches together.
My previous builds have been the same. I've done like, harbour bridge style, just kind of one to the next, with a couple of donuts underneath, buy a couple of boxes and you're good to go.
That's it. Works a treat.
Yeah.
When you said that you outsourced your scape, like I just picture you in the background like an angry wife going, "No, not there. What are you doing?"
I swear it was almost more the other way around, because I'd go in and see how Dave was going and go, I can help. And he's like, "No, don't look at it. I'm not happy with it." And I'd look at it and go, "Mate, this looks awesome. This is ready to go." No. Give me another week. I want to try some different shapes here, there. And I'm like, it's done. It's ready.
Yeah. So that is also probably another good point for new aquascapers is you utilize the shapes that are already available. Like
yeah.
There's arches, there's caves, there's donuts, there's a whole bunch of shapes already done for you, where you can literally glue 3 pieces together and have a 2-3 foot aquascape done, finished. Like very little work, very little material, probably not a lot of money, very little experience, right? If you do it right, and you don't have to put too much thought or money into it as well. So
also find if your local fish shop has them in stock and they're on a shelf, they're normally quite happy for you to have a little bit of a play, as long as you're not like throwing them on the ground. You'd be surprised, particularly with arches, donuts, caves, like you were saying, Sam. Sit a few together, tip one upside down, try this, try that. They Lego in pretty well. And you get to a point where you can start to stack a scape together pretty good and go, I just need to rest my wallet next to it here, or this bucket of salt there to stop it falling over. And you can start to put together a bit of a scape and go, all right, it's only going to need a bit of epoxy here or there, maybe a bit of super glue. And even if I put a zip tie or something around this bit to hold it there while the glue dried, you're good to go. So you can really start to visualize your scape quite quickly.
Yeah, or some of them you can get that have pre-drilled holes that you can put acrylic rods in, so you can kind of link some of the arches or caves or things like that as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's where it starts getting next level.
Yeah.
I've even had a few people come in and do exactly that thing that you're saying, Sam, where they kind of started to tinker on the shelves and put some rocks together. And I walked over to one guy one day and I'm like, "How you going? Like, you figured it out?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm going too well. I've actually figured it out, but I don't know how I'm going to get it home and be able to get it back together
every
this
time."
way. And I just said to him, I said, "Hold it there for a sec." And I got out the glue and some stuff and I just kind of tacked it all together for him. I'm like, "Buy some of this glue, buy a little bit of this. When you get home, put a little bit more here, there, and everywhere. You got a scape." But like, he could take almost his finished piece semi put together home where it wasn't going to break, and easy. Took me a minute, and he was
take a photo.
He was happy.
I've tried taking a photo and then recreating it. Never works out the same.
Never works. Never works. No.
But if you don't have the capability to, transport a 4-foot, 5-foot rockscape, you can try a photo, give it a whirl.
Well, the photo was fine. You just have to come to terms with it's never
going to be the
like
same.
doesn't matter how many photos you do and how long you spend trying to recreate it, you're never going to have it exactly the same.
Exactly right.
If you're comfortable with that, no worries. Take photos, transport it.
The last style I've got is probably one you see a little bit less, but it's probably the most daunting out of all of them. Is the bonsai scape, the one where it's kind of cantilevered from one side with a massive overhang. That's a tricky one to do because there's not a lot of thought that has to go in the top piece, but there's a lot of thought in the bottom piece where it's got to kind of cantilever and hold all that weight up
anchor
top.
it all.
Yeah, and you really got to be quite good at getting it all together, cementing it together, gluing it together and stuff, because if you have a weak point, like those things tip so easily. So probably not one I would start with if you're a newbie into aquascaping or reefing. But
and I'd go back to what we're saying before, in that the purpose of a rockscape, or ask yourself what the purpose of the rockscape is for the tank you want. If you're looking for, if it's going to be a reef tank, it's really there to hold coral and provide a little bit of habitat for fish. Even if it's a fish-only system, it's habitat for fish. Don't get too caught up on what it looks like empty. If it is a fish-only system, you're not even going to have softies or anything in there. Yeah, maybe put a little bit of time into what it looks like, because it's going to look like that in the long run. But if you're going to put any sort of coral in there at all, it's going to look completely different in a very short time frame. So focus on the coral placement, the coral health, the fish swim throughs, habitats. Let the aesthetics work it out from there.
Yeah, put a lot more into the functionality of it, more so than the overall appearance of it, I would say.
I was going to say as well, it seems like this last style, this bonsai or the big overhangs and stuff, is, I think it's more influenced like freshwater. I feel like if it's going to be as close to aquascaping freshwater, something like that is going to be probably closest to it. So I guess it kind of gets that influence from freshwater. But yeah, you're exactly right. And then leads you to, what do you do with the underside of the rock if you've got this big overhang? What do you put there?
I know.
You've got a big shadow spot too.
Exactly.
So it's not like you can have coral underneath it. Like, it's probably great for fish. NPS. But it's great for fish because fish love to swim beneath, overhangs and things like that. They do that in the wild.
Yeah, but give them coral overhangs. Don't give them rock overhangs. Get some tabling acro, let it grow out.
That's the other thing as well. Like, you put a lot of thought and effort into a scape, and if you like, bonsai scape is the one I want to do, you could quite easily do that bonsai scape without actually doing it with rock. Like, with your coral placement, you could quite easily get a massive overhang with some Montipora cap or a big tabling acro or anything really. So, like, even a big Duncan tree kind of thing, like, you could make a big overhang with something like that. It doesn't have to be SPS.
Think long term.
You could go to all this effort and make this giant 3-foot overhang, put a Montipora cap on top of it, and you just kind of, like, the whole top piece just looks like Montipora cap anyway, and it would have hung off the side of the rock. It didn't need something a platform to sit on. So
it's true.
Functionality is where it's at, and that's something that took me a long time to learn. Like, another reason why I went with the branching scape is I wanted to increase the amount of flow. I wanted a lot less detritus traps and dead spots and stuff, and because I did think that shelving scape, it held a lot of detritus. Because the rock is like, it has these artificial cracks and crevices and pores and stuff in it and stuff like, and they just fill up with shit. So I just wanted a lot more flow in and around all my coral and stuff. So the functionality side of it, right?
Definitely.
So,
well, it's like if you're designing a car and you start with the chassis, you design the chassis for function. The body goes on the car. That gives it the looks. And it's the same with your tank. Build the rock with function in mind. Let the corals do the looks.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a master builder, yeah, sure, you want your chassis to look as good as the body. But, if it's your first scape, let's not go down that path just yet. Just make it functional. Let the corals do the aesthetics.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. We'll move on to the products that we use to actually get it all together, because I think that also probably deters some people. They're like, I'm not using glue in my tank, and I'm not, using cement in my tank, but it's all safe. It's all reef safe. We've been doing it for a long time, and there's no problems with it. And
yes,
there's a little bit of a knack to it. Don't get me wrong, in how to use it and get it all to work properly. But so some of the stuff that we use, the epoxy is probably a great starting point, because if you're patient, you could probably use that and that only. If you were to kind of prop your shelves up, or you want a very simple scape, you can use epoxy and wedge it into the gaps and stuff, and that is actually enough to kind of hold a scape together by itself. You'll use a fair bit of it, but
most definitely my go-to.
Mine too.
When I'm building a scape, I'll get it to partially sit where I want it to sit, and then I'll start pushing epoxy, that 2-part epoxy, into the joins. Even if you have to do it section by section, like sometimes if you've got 8 pieces and they're all precariously delicately balanced, precariously, there's the wordsmith. If they're precariously balanced, it can be difficult when you've got that many pieces on the go, but glue the first 2 together, get them working, and then glue glue those 2 bits to the 3rd bit, and so on and so on. And replace all those. You might have, a can of tomato soup or something in there propping something up. But then once the glue dries, you can pull the soup out and move on to the next piece. The only problem with the epoxy is it does take a little while to dry. It's not instant like the super glues, but it does give a good strong bond. And there's something very satisfying about mixing that 2-part up and then pushing it into the cracks of the rocks. Gives a good strong bond, and it can be difficult to see if you've put it into the joins quite nicely.
Especially the newer stuff now. I think when we first started getting epoxy, it stood out like dog's balls. It was white against purple rock. But now they make stuff that's purple and grey and black.
They do. You can pick
cream and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Even the white stuff turns purple pretty quickly.
It does. Yeah.
You'll see it for the first month in the tank, and then it's covered in purple. It's gone.
Coraline, done.
Yeah.
But the best thing about the epoxy is it's probably the only option if let's say you wanted to repair something that's kind of fallen apart in a tank underwater. It's probably the only thing that you can use, bar draining half a tank and getting in there with glue and cement and things like that. So
it does work very well. In a wet tank, it's perfect.
Water skimmer always goes nuts when I use epoxy fresh in a tank, which I've done a couple of times.
They do.
It just goes berserk, which I don't find with anything else. So that's another thing to consider.
It's a good 2 weeks. It's a good 2 weeks. If you build a whole scape and you put it in your tank and you turn your skimmer, it's a good 2 weeks before your skimmer will start to work properly again.
Yeah, that's exactly what I found.
The next product is probably something like your cement style. It literally is cement.
It is.
So
definitely
Aquaforest Stone Fix is my go-to. I don't know of many other versions out there, and I'm probably sure you can be savvy and
I'm sure there is something.
Go to your builders and find something, but Stone Fix is created for a reef tank, and I'm trusting that. So, but it works just like your everyday cement. You add a little bit of water, you get the right consistency, and place it where you need to place it, and over time it gets hard.
That's
pretty simple, right?
It works.
But I also use the cement in another way. So I actually use the cement alongside the how did you say the glue again? The cyanoacrylate?
Yeah, that's it.
Cyanoacrylate.
Yeah. So I place a little bit of the Stone Fix along a seam or something like that, and then squirt it with the glue, and it sets rock hard instantly. So that's my
trade secret.
That's my little way of I kind of I kind of align it with something like welding, right? You know, you
Yep.
don't go and weld a long strip all in one hit. You tack a few pieces here and there.
Yep.
I step back, I have a look. I'm like, yep, I like where we're heading here. And then I'll go through and I'll kind of complete the thing off and fully weld it in.
Yes. You can
so
always break the tacks if need be.
that's right. Yeah, it's not
Yep.
hard. You can kind of just tap it with a hammer and it's enough. But once you kind of lock it in and you kind of cement that whole section in with the glue, it bonds, and it bonds well. Like I've even had bits where like I've glued like a skate together. I've dropped the skate, and where I've glued it all together stayed intact and it's broken elsewhere. So it it glues together pretty well that way. But I that's not my final form. That's what I use to kind of get things to where I like it before I kind of final finish it. So it's you can use that stone fix or the cement in two ways. A lot of people only use it, mix it with water, but it's great for you using just those with a bit of glue to tack it in place as well. So,
Yep.
Um,
I must admit, just on the instant sort of set option there that you mentioned with this on acrylite, I'm a big fan of when I do have to use super glue, which I will sometimes use. I'll get my rocks sitting together, use the epoxy in the joins to sort of push it in there. But then once it's all dry and I'm finished, I'll, pick the rock up and move it around a little bit and see if there's any bits that I'm not 100% happy with of how strong it is. I'll then pump some acrylite to fill it with the glue. But then I'll grab, there is a product called Instaset from BSI or Bob Smith Industries, I think it is. They're a super glue company.
It's like a spray, isn't it?
It's a spray. Yeah, you can get a spray or you can get just the straight liquid. I mean, the spray is just a spray bottle on it. That sets your acrylite super glue instantly. That's wicked for like filling in gaps after the fact. You can just squeeze it in there and set it instantly.
Make it all stronger.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. And there's another little product which has been really good lately as well. So I used to use like cotton buds and things like that. But they've so there's a few companies now. I actually at work I use the one for Dymax, I believe. It's almost like wool, but they actually color as well, so you can get purple, brown, pink, whatever you want, kind of thing. And I just roll them up into little balls, and I do that like that tacking method. I use that as well to kind of I wedge it into a little bit of rock, put a little bit of glue on it. It sets instantly, kind of thing. So that's really handy as well. It's not. I wouldn't rely on it and only it, like glue and this foam. I can't even explain what it is. It's fluff almost. I wouldn't.
You're a heck of a salesman.
Buy some.
You know what? It's like lint. It's like colored lint. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Next time he's in the shop, I'll show you. It's like lint, but it's great because you can kind of knead it into whatever shape you kind of want, and it jams right into cracks and crevices and stuff. You put a bit of glue on it, and it sets hard. But I wouldn't rely on it in glue only. So
no.
But it's a good little tool. Great to kind of work with and play with and help you get the shapes that you want to get and stuff. But what I do to kind of set my scape in and lock it in is I actually have a mix of the stone fixed mixed with a really fine sand. Right. And what I do after I've kind of glued everything and I'm happy, I will go over all of the joins with this super glue. And for anyone who doesn't know what this glue is, it's a super runny super glue. Like it's very it's super runny. Like you can squirt it out. It's like water almost, but it's really sticky. You'll glue your fingers together, so be careful.
Wear gloves.
But it's super runny, so it helps you get into certain places. It'll kind of, if you squirt it on something, it'll kind of run down and then set. The one thing about it, when you use it with the cement or that lint stuff that I was talking about, it gives off this weird fume, which is a little bit toxic, I
Gets
think. So
super
be
hot too.
careful.
Yeah.
Yes, it gets very hot. So be careful with that. You might need glasses, PPE, the respirator, gloves, all of those things. I use all of it, I swear, um, but yeah, it does. It lets off a bit of a fume, so be careful with that. Yeah, so that's the main stuff that I use. I might go over it with some colored sand and stuff like that. Like we dye some sand to make it purple.
Yeah.
You got to bake it afterwards, so it's just food dye and sand mixed together, and you bake it in the oven to kind of lock that color in. But that kind of just makes it look a little bit more natural, because if you kind of like, you can see the joins and stuff. If you don't do that, it's probably a little bit overkill, but it gives a final product like that. It looks neat, finished, polished. So
it covers those joins as well. Looks natural. Because are you saying that you mix the sand with Stone Fix, or you put the sand on
so that
liquid glue?
No, so that is my final kind of
finishing
piece that locks the piece in, my finishing piece. So to go over it, what I would do is I'd either use a little bit of that Stone Fix or those little limp pieces to kind of tack things in place where I want it with the glue, right? Once I'm happy, I will go over all of the joins all the way around with a mix of the Stone Fix with sand. So I put it in a tub, sand and Stone Fix together.
Yeah, right.
And then just for aesthetics, I will go over again with like some of the purple looking or whatever scape it is. Like sometimes we use Marco Rock. I do have like a whiter sand that I use and sprinkle over it. That kind of makes all the joints look really neat and stuff as well. So that's pretty much it. Like I have heard of people trying to use the coral glue. That's not the same thing. That is a gel. It doesn't actually set super hard either, the gel. It more kind of bonds to the rock rather than kind of seep into the pores of the rock. So it won't work. You won't be able to do a skate with that stuff. You need to find this cyanoacrylate, I think it's called. Is that what you said?
They're all cyanoacrylates. They're different thicknesses. Well, they're not all. There is a different type of super glue as well. But
this one's called CA glue, I'm pretty sure. And it's actually hobby
adhesive.
Glue.
Yeah. And it's the same stuff, honestly, as coral glue. Just coral glue is thick. Where your more hobby glues or all your regular hardware store super glues are generally a lot runnier.
Yeah. And if you can't find it, you could probably go to a hobby shop or a sewing shop or something. They'll have something like that as well. Like when I've run out, there's a near my barber shop. I know I have no hair, but they've still got to shave it every now and then. Next door, they've got a RC shop, and in there he sells it there too. The same stuff that you could find in the some of the aquariums. So
probably cheaper too.
It was the same price, to be honest.
I guess it's RC hobby. It's probably just an expensive hobby, hey?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. But yeah, also the other part of it as well is like there's another thing that I've found as well where I don't know what it's made up of, but it's a spray, colored spray, which you can actually dye your rock as well now. So for those people who are very particular in how the escape is finished, you can go over all your joints and spray the joints and stuff with this colored spray. And it's almost like colored water, but it dries, and it kind of gives a bit of a natural look as well. I haven't used a lot of it, but I've seen it out there. I think Delure actually have it at the moment. I'm not sure of many other companies that do it at the moment, but it's another scaping tool, another product to use.
To be honest, seems massive overkill to me.
Oh, it is. But
make it sturdy, get the shape you want, put it in your tank. Don't worry about the color of the joins.
Yeah. But I did a little bit of research on it because there was a guy on Instagram, and his whole business, he's over in America somewhere, and his whole business is he actually makes rock. And all different colors and stuff, but he dyes the rock. And in his comments, it is just full of people because he makes them white, so like Marco rock, and his comments are just full of how impatient are you? Just put it in your tank, and 3 weeks later you'll have coralline growing on it. Why do you need to have it purple now? I'm like, each to their own, though, really, because Caribs see their best-selling rock is purple. So
absolutely.
There's reason behind some of these things, and if you go to all that effort, you spend $1,000 on a skate. What's another $10 on a bit of spray as well if you want to make
this
it
is
look
a fair
beautiful.
point.
So anyway, it's overkill too, in my opinion, but another product to use.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
On top of that, obviously you've got all your PPE stuff that I mentioned before. You've got like gloves. If you're going to do this, go and buy 100 pack of gloves, because
definitely use gloves.
In doing one skate, you'll go through 50 gloves because they just break and fall apart. And if you've got hairs like mine, not many gloves fit them. So
you go through 5 pairs just trying to get one on.
Yeah, well-ventilated areas too. If you can do it outside when you're aquascaping, I think that's a good call.
Well-ventilated is a very good call. Yeah. Another little tip I can recommend is zip ties.
Zip ties.
Zip ties to hold some rocks together while you're waiting for the glue to dry. You can cut them off after. So they'll hold them pretty steady, so you can really get that glue in. Particularly if you're trying to do something a little adventurous with some overhangs or some slightly anti-gravity scapes, use some zip ties to hold things together, or use some props. Like I sort of semi-joked before about a can of soup or something to hold a rock in place. Just to take that weight off it till the glue sets or the epoxy sets. Then cut the zip tie, pull the can out, make sure it still holds there. If it's a bit shaky, put the can back in, put some more epoxy in, and try again tomorrow. But don't be afraid to think of using things that aren't going to be in the final product to hold it together while it's drying.
Yeah. Good tip.
Yeah. Definitely good tip. We've actually, at the end of the episode, we'll talk a little bit more about tips and tricks as well. But great tip.
Now I'm fresh out.
I've got no more either.
I'll have to think of some more tips.
So I guess everyone's all gone, okay, that sounds great, but where do I start? Where do I actually begin? Right. And without sounding like I'm taking the piss a little bit, go and buy your rock first. Pick what you want. Go to your local shop, and like Sam said before, play with a few things on the bench and try and get a little bit of a vision. Pick out the pieces that you want, but take an extra 5-6 pieces with you as well, just in case. Like every one person that has ever done a scape has had more rock than they've needed. So, they make great yard ornaments, or you could potentially work a deal and get some credit at your shop if you take them back and don't use them. So, but also get some inspiration somewhere for a skate. Find someone else's skate that you like, grab some rock that aligns with that. But one of the biggest parts that a lot of people skip is make an area that is the same size as your tank. Like, even if you're on a table, you have to tape off the exact dimensions of your tank, and not just the dimensions of the inside of your tank, whatever you have to work with for getting it into the tank. If you've got a Euro brace, whatever, if you've got light mounts, whatever, weirs, tape it off on the table so or even better, sometimes I've seen a few people like kind of jimmy up like their own little fake tank with cardboard.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Like a little box.
Yeah, cardboard box. Still, literally make a tank out of cardboard.
Yep.
Because I don't know how many times I'm like, yes, that is the skate. How good is this thing? It looks excellent. And you get it in and it touches the front and the back glass. And you're like, this is not going to work. No. So section yourself off an area and just remember, you're working with glue, cement, rock, sand. It's messy. So Don't go doing it on the glass dinner table or anything like that, because he'd be quickly divorced or kicked out in the curb.
Unless you got shares in a divorce lawyer.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, from just play with it after that. Just kind of get creative a little bit. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the first scape that you put together doesn't have to be the final thing that goes in your tank. Play with it. And like I said, tack it in place first. And then once you finally go, that's I'm happy with that. It'll fit inside the tank. It's what I was looking for. I've got swim throughs. I've got placement for corals. I've got everything I need. Then fully glue it all together.
Sit on it for a bit is my suggestion. I don't know if you do, Jared, if you just get it all in, but I just sit on it, come back the next day and kind of have a second look at it.
Definitely.
I don't know. When I was building that branching scape at work, I don't know how many times I was just standing there looking at it and people come up to me and go, "What are you doing?
Nice rock."
Like, it's not gonna finish itself. What are you doing? And I'm like, no, there's something missing. There's something you've got to sit there and look at it for a little bit and go, because sitting there and looking at it for 10 minutes on the bench is better than it going in the tank and you going
regretting it for 5 years.
I'm not happy with it. It just, that's blocking the overflow and that's touching the back wall and this, that, and everything. Like, just sit on it for a bit and think it over. And
it's the big advantage of artificial rock, particularly for new reefers. Build the scape or build the first draft of your scape. Leave it there. Look at it. Think about it for a few days. Try and move a magnet cleaner around it, things like that. Make sure you got space for all that, and then go, got a few bits left over. What if I made a little bombing over here, or I did this here? Just gives you a little bit more time. There's no rush for this stuff. This hobby, particularly at the start, rewards patience. Take your time with your scape. Obviously, with live rock, you sort of need to almost be committed to the day you're buying the rock is probably the day that you're finalizing your scape, because it's going to be in the tank and wet that day. So it puts a little bit more time pressure on it. And that's why it's probably a format or a media that's better suited to those who have done a few scapes before. But if you're using artificial, take your time.
Yeah, you've got ages. If you don't have coral sitting in the tub waiting to go into the tank, you've got all the time in the world, and you've probably got a month or so of cycling anyway. So
it's much easier to make revisions while it's on that, I was going to say the dining table, but no, on your outdoor table.
On the kitchen. I mean, no, sorry.
Much easier to make revisions to your scape than when it's in the tank. And then you go, actually, I don't like the way that rock kicks to the left. I want to try and straighten that. Once it's in your tank, that's a lot harder.
Yeah,
that's true.
And then probably the next steps is getting into the tank. And the two big tips are here is lift it from the bottom, not from the top. Even though you've glued it together, it doesn't mean it can support the weight of 20 kilos of rock beneath
heavy, brittle rock
around the glass box.
Around it. Easily scratched, easily chipped, easily cracked glass box. It's a recipe for disaster.
Put some towels or a pool noodle over the rim of the tank so you've got something to rest on. If it's awkward and tricky to get in, get someone to help you.
Don't do it yourself.
All of that stuff.
Don't do it yourself.
don't go, yep, it's done, cool. Bang. Get it in the tank, get it wet. That's not going to end up good. And also rock first, then sand.
Oh, I was going to ask you on this. What's your thoughts?
Do you put anything
rock
under
first,
the rock?
Sand.
Like, I know some people put egg crate and things like that under the rock. What's your say on that?
Rock, the glass, like the rock on the glass is the only way to go.
And sand,
right? Sand afterwards, definitely. But I do try and make flat pieces on the bottom of my scape. So even like with some of these branching scapes where I do use the branches as feet as well, I do with epoxy try and make flat feet. Which will sit in the glass. So I don't have sharp points touching the glass so much.
Spread that surface area out as far as you can.
Spread the surface out, But the problem with sand then scape is you leave room for things to burrow beneath and then make the rock scape kind of unstable somewhat as well. So if you have built something like a precarious like overhang or something like that, cantilevered, and like it's on its tipping point where if like too much coral goes on one end, and then you have something like a Strombus or Nassaris snail kind of dig underneath and slowly kind of burrow out, starts to tip as well. Yeah, and also it gives no chance for anything to live beneath the rock. Like the contact between the rock and the glass is final. Like there's not a lot that's going to live beneath it. But when you've got sand and rock, everything's going to live beneath there. Like you like
everyone move in.
I know of wrasse that got get up and underneath there, right? So
if they're moving sand,
you may never see them again. Yeah. So, but I think that some people probably be on the fence with that one, but that's what I always do, at least anyway. But the last few scapes I've done have been bare bottom anyway, so no sand.
Eliminates that. I must admit, I've been a fan of sand first, then rock. But when I put the rock in, I'll give it a little, wiggle back and forth, just to sort of, till you get it to hit that glass point, and then you're like, all right, that's good. And if there's any parts that aren't hitting glass point at that point in time, the sand will take up the difference. But I'm not going to profess that that's the way to go. I don't know. I'm always curious on people's take, and I think you gave a pretty compelling argument. So maybe I'll try different next time.
Yeah. And the other one, back in the day, it was when we built those boulder walls, it was put crate down or put, something down beneath the rock.
They just become detritus traps, don't they?
Yeah. They do. But I think that was also so you could spread that load of that rock wall along the back wall.
Yeah, well, you were putting 300 kilo of rock in a 4-foot tank. It was out of control.
Everything was leaning against that back wall pretty much. So some people are worried about scratching your glass in the bottom, but the thing with glass is you can rarely see glass scratched on the bottom because of the way that you view and the water, and it's hard to see a scratch on the inside from another viewing panel, if you know what I mean.
Yep,
does that make sense?
I'm going to lock in refraction. But
refraction sounds like the technical solution there.
Well done.
100 points, Gryffindor. Nicely done.
The large scapes you do, Jared, are they primarily one large piece, or do you break it up into 2 or 3 movable parts that you can shimmy in the tank after the fact?
So that's the hardest part, right? Making it look like it's one piece, but it's not. So that big one that I did it's 2 pieces, but it's hard to tell. So I've kind of jigsawed it, found a point where they kind of mesh perfectly together, and then build it that while it's together, if that makes sense, and then kind of have it so I can kind of pull apart.
Yeah, makes sense.
So if you came in and looked at it, I'd be able to show you that's the seam, that's where it kind of joins. But I've had so many people go, how did you move that big, large thing in one piece? And I'm like, there's tricks. So, but
mirrors, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, I definitely try and build it in as many pieces as I can. Well, sometimes like my personal tech at home, my Euro brace is sectioned into 3 areas. So I had to build 3 scapes. They look like 3 scapes, but when all the coral grows in and amongst each other, it'll look like one large one. So we'll move on to tips and tricks. If we've got any, I know we've already said a couple, but if we've got any tips and tricks on this.
I don't know if I do have any other tips or tricks.
You might have covered them all, Jared. You're a bit of an expert. So as you've been doing the episode, you've just given them all out.
I know.
Yeah, we've given a fair few out already. You probably, one of the main tips is have everything that you need before you get going, you're going to need, probably going to need a teaspoon for shoveling in your cement into the cracks and stuff. But one big piece that a lot of people overlook is just even if you have to break one piece of rock up, get the sledgehammer to a piece out the back, just have lots of little rubble pieces available, because the problem that you'll find for anyone that's done escape is, yes, they do somewhat jigsaw together to an extent. But sometimes you have to fill some gaps to get like
Yeah, you got to
really
put a little
lock in a
bracket in almost.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you use like some little rubble pieces, all different sizes, anywhere from like, a couple of mil up to maybe a couple of centimeters, like you can use those to wedge in into little gaps and holes and stuff. And then that way it also gives you a place where you can cement in and it's not going to fall through the crack and do nothing as well. So that's a definite little, but yeah, have everything you need in front of you. Build your little fake tank out of cardboard. Have some towels available, plenty of gloves, all of it, everything you need. Think it. If you think you might need it, get it. Because once your fingers are
more rock,
get more rock than you need.
Have
plenty of cement. Have an extra stick of epoxy, not just
definitely more glue and epoxy than you think you're going to need because you will use so much of it.
You'll use tons of it. Yeah. So for anyone, go and have a look at this scape. Not just to get an understanding of how big it is, but so this scape I used half a bag of stone fix. So that's 500 mil or whatever they call it. So half a bag of stone fix, half a bag of sand, four bottles of glue, and 3 sticks of epoxy, and 2 bags of that lint stuff. Which it's they're not big bags, but so that's how much it took to have. When you think about it, it's probably 150, 200, no, maybe more, $200 worth of just stuff to fix it all together. So
on top of the rock,
that's a big scape though. Big scape. So, but that's what it takes. And if beforehand I would have gone, I probably only need a stick of epoxy and a cup full of cement and this, that. Like I needed way more than I thought. Get heaps of it. And be generous with what you use. Don't knead up tiny little balls of the epoxy. You like make big chunks and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Golf ball that sucker up.
Epoxy everywhere.
That's right. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Wedge it in.
But yeah, like once you've gotten started, like you'll know once you start using that epoxy, yes, it's cleaner than glue, but it will leave a residue on your fingers. So make sure you've got gloves, all those things. You don't want to start and get halfway through building a scape that you can't actually leave unattended to run down to Bunnings and get this or go to your local fish shop and get that, and or ask someone to help you halfway through. So think about what you need and stuff first. I had another one, but it's gone from my brain.
I've got 2. Well, I'll share them while I remember them. Not that I use the cement or the stone fix all that often, but when I do, I use I actually mix it in a Ziploc bag. Not so much to keep it, like once you've mixed it, even in a Ziploc bag, it's gonna set. But you can almost use it like a I'm not a baker, but like the piping bags. So you cut a corner off the bottom of the bag, and it gives you a little bit more control with it. And I do find with the less surface exposure, like the less exposure to air, it does take a little bit longer to set when it's in the bag. You're not going to be able to use it tomorrow, but it's going to make your working time sort of go from like 20 minutes to maybe 30, 40 minutes, which might just save you a little bit. And it also makes it easy to just mix up what you're going to use at a time. You can just mix it up in a bag. You can always add some more. Just those Ziploc bags, just grab another bag, put some more in, mix it up, cut the corner off, good to go. The other tip I've got, don't be afraid to, if you're not liking a section of it and it's already glued up, you've done a little bit more than the tacking that Jared suggested before, don't be afraid to get a hammer, smash it off. It's just rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Glue it back together. If you don't like the way it's looking, smash that bit off. Do it again. It's no big deal.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how many scapes I've built, all like near completed, and gone. It's just not. It's not doing what I want it to do. It's not. It's not fitting the eye, and I've literally have to break it apart. Which is why I kind of go for the whole tack it in pieces first. Because it's much easier to break a piece off when it's only held on by a tiny little bit of glue rather than fully glued in.
I just find, particularly on slightly bigger scapes, you sort of get yourself in a comfortable position out wherever you're working, and you're sort of sitting from that one angle working on it. And then, you stop, you've done that session, you're waiting for things to dry, you go have lunch, you come back, and you just happen to approach the scape from the other side, and you go, what the hell is this? Oh, that's not going to work. And then you're like, oh, how am I going to fix that? Now it's sometimes easier, just smash that bit off, rebuild it. It's easy.
The biggest tip I've got is understand the surroundings of the scape, right? The old, so it goes against probably the old rock wall, which was as tall as the back wall of the glass.
Yes.
Give room for your coral, right? So I never really like to go past halfway with a scape. Give room for the coral to kind of grow in. Same goes for either side of the scape and the front to back, like from the front edge to the front glass panel as well. For many reasons, you want room for coral to grow. You want room for fish to swim, right? If your scape takes up 99% of the volume of the tank, you like neither of those things are going to happen. You got within months, your coral's going to grow into the glass wall, and you're not going to have any room for the fish to swim. So, give yourself a good, 150 mil, 200 mil either side of the scape. Don't go past halfway. Lots of swim throughs underneath.
Yep.
You don't want to make it like a big block either as well. So we know that solid things don't allow flow through it as well. So you might pay all that money for beautiful Ecotech, Vortec, MP60 and stuff for it to pump, 25,000 litres per hour or whatever it is. And then it's only going 2 feet into the side of a rock wall and not really doing much flow. It's just, So, lots of, think about it like I don't know, I guess have a look at it and see, is things going to settle on it? Is flow going to get around it? All those kind of things, because you will get that's how cyano and detritus traps happen, because they just, hit a part of the scape, and, you in every tank, no matter what tank, you'll have dead spots.
Yeah.
And go and look at your tank right now. Anyone who says that they don't, you'll have a buildup of something somewhere. It'll be in the corner, usually back 2 corners or around the weir or something like that. But you don't want it to be around the base of your scape. That's a problem.
Very true.
Yeah. It's about all I've got really for tips and tricks, unless you guys have anything else.
No, I've tapped out.
Yeah.
You've covered it all.
I haven't given any. Sam, you gave more than me. I just kind of, that sounds good. I'm now feel like an expert. I feel like I want to go rescape a tank right now, but.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
I guess also, don't be afraid to wave the white flag as well. You don't want to throw in something that you're not quite proud of and not quite happy. Pick your rock up, take it to someone else who might have a better crack at it than you. There's people out there like me that enjoy doing it. There's people out there who go, I'll pay every dollar you want to do it if I don't have to look at it, if I don't have to work on it. It's people like different things, right? So, I'll build it for you. No problems. I've built 50, 60, 100 of them now for friends and customers and all kinds of stuff in my tanks. So I enjoy doing it. Come to me. I'll do it. No problems. But
there's an offer.
Have a crack yourself first, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it took me
a level of satisfaction to doing it yourself, definitely.
100%.
Yeah. It took me a few times to enjoy doing it, but it was daunting for me at the beginning. But I was once I kind of got the knack for it and everything, I was like, I like doing this now. I'll do it for more people, and I got better and better at it. And I think I produce fairly nice scapes now. So,
I'd agree.
Definitely.
I have issues, so stuff that people do wrong, and I think we've probably already gone over most of those with tips and tricks and stuff. But that definitely just think about the biggest one for me is have an end goal. for what you want to do. There's scapes that won't work for certain coral. There's scapes that won't work for certain fish. And if you want to build a live rock boulder wall, then go for that too. But
spot on.
Yeah,
I'd love to see more people trying to skate with live rock. I think that's really cool.
That is cool.
I think I want to try it a little bit more, but
I think if
hard
you've
to
got
do
a
it in a shop
3-foot
format.
tank or smaller, I would heavily advocate for live rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
I
should
think
go
live rock's
4 foot or
coming back.
bigger. Yeah, it definitely is.
It is.
Definitely is. Once it's 4 foot or bigger, some of those logistical challenges really start to weigh on you with live rock. But that's just my tipping point. Other people might be like, you're good up to 20 feet. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. But I think with this hobby in general, have a real think about what kind of a person you are. Are you a person who needs things done today, or are you a fairly patient person? Because there's aspects of this hobby that you can be either of these people. People who want to establish tank tomorrow. There's people who have done that, but then there's also people. Some of the best tanks are people who have done it for the long run as well. So don't be true to yourself and go, what am I? Am I a person that I'm very patient? I can wait a month or two for a cycle, I'm good with that stuff. Or am I going to put coal in there as soon as the cycle's finished? If your answer is, I need the tank done now, then maybe live rock's your way to go. If you're patient, then build a skate. Take your time with it. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Good tips.
That's all we got for this episode today. I'll just repeat about the East Coast Corals.
Yes, please do.
Prize that we've got going. Yeah. So 3 people will be lucky enough to win some supplement packs. I've spoken to Chris. He said he's going to include a couple of bottles of trace and some powders and stuff like that, which is excellent. And kind of be tailored a little bit around. So if you think that you want potassium over strontium, whatever, you'll make it work for you. So
nice.
And this will all be it'll all be done through socials as well. So have a look at our social pages, follow the steps there. The way I'll kind of work it is it will be a little bit of a pop quiz type thing, and the people who answer the pop quiz questions right first will be the 3 winners. And then we'll get in touch with Chris and get some stuff sent out and stuff. And but yeah, one of the main things already is get across to East Coast Corals on Instagram, give him a like, have a look at his gear, pop into some of the shops that is stocking his gear and try it out. It's good stuff. Works.
Chris has said himself, if you've got trace element questions, DM him. Slide into the DMs. The man lives and breathes trace elements and corals, and he's always curious on what you're doing, what you're curious on, and how we can help. So yeah, take advantage of that.
And see his coral tanks firsthand on Sam's videos, right, as well. Might as well have a look at them.
Always a good idea.
Yeah.
and Haley's as well. Haley's done a video on his tank as well.
Yep.
Both great videos.
Yep.
Check them out.
But yeah, Chris is a really cool dude. He's happy to talk coal all day, every day with you about it. So, if you have questions on his elements or you just want to talk about coal in general, he'll have a chat to you. We've had many a chats. So reach out, jump on his socials and give him a like. It's a good product. He's a good guy. Also, jump on our socials as well. We've got Facebook, we've got Insta, TikTok is in the process of being set up and stuff as well. There'll be lots of fun, exciting things coming in the next couple of episodes over the next couple of months and stuff as well. I'm also inquiring about getting some T-shirts made as well fairly soon for the podcast. So, give us your feedback on that. Would you wear a Submerged Podcast T-shirt? Is that something that you're into? If so, what do you want? What kind of style do you want?
What do you want?
What do you want?
Do you guys want singlets? You want T-shirts? You want caps? What do you want? Let us know. We'll do a merch run if everyone's keen and into it. So yeah, give us some feedback and we'll make it happen. Awesome. But that's all we've got time for in this episode. Already 2 episodes into the season, which is happening pretty quickly already. But thanks for being on, boys. Sam, again, it's great to have you as part of the team.
Agreed.
It's been great the past 2 episodes. Keep it up.
Thanks, mate. I will.
All right, everyone. We'll catch you on episode 22 in a couple of weeks' time. Stay tuned for that. See you on the next one. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to catch us again in a fortnight for the next episode. Find us on all our socials for more updates.